All right, everybody, welcome. Week 2, episode 2, Motor City Chirps. I am your host, Brendan, with my other host, co-host, friend, avid Maple Leafs fan, Zach.
Hello, go Leafs, go.
Today is May 11th, at least the day we're recording this, and the Tigers suck. I mean, I really don't think I can put it any way, more cut and dry than that.
I
But
mean, yeah, we suck. We can look at it like this. At least we scored after what was it, 28 innings?
yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like that whole I mean, I did it in my own right, but the whole celebration after scoring a run from the Tigers Twitter account to the Detroit Free Press to the entire MLB, I feel like that was very, very sad.
Yeah, it's
I mean, like they scored on a sacrifice fly, whoop diddy doo, and the whole world was talking about it. They finally scored a run, which, you know, yeah,
on one
it
hand, it's like, hey, what did we win that game? 6-0?
6-0, yeah,
You know,
which
that's
we're
a
currently
that's a
down six
right. We're
zero
currently down
right
six
now.
zero in the fucking
Mm-hmm,
end of the third. That's great.
mm-hmm,
Getting mollywopped
mm-hmm.
by the fucking Athletics.
Absolutely.
But a 6-0 win is for us. That's spectacular. So but the thing
Yeah.
the thing with everyone talking about is it's a joke. I mean, our team is one big meme. We're just a
Yeah.
joke, just like all of our other fucking teams in this city. But
Yeah. It is. It's pretty sad. I mean, I spoke about it, last week about how this 9 game, or not nine, this 15 game stretch we're on from, you know, starting with Pittsburgh at home, then going to Houston, then coming back playing the A's, and then the Orioles. That was kind of a spot where we needed to be. We say last week 8-7 would be, very hopeful, would be very nice. Well, I hate to burst your bubble. Currently, we are 2-7 through the first 9 games. So for us to accomplish that prediction, we're going to have to win 6 in a row. And while I'm saying this, we are currently down 6-0 in the third inning. So, I can strongly say that, it's not going to happen. Miracles do happen. The impossible sometimes is achieved. When it involves the Detroit Tigers, the impossible becomes more impossible. So yeah, so not only 2-7 in the last 9 games. I want you to guess how many runs total do you think we've scored in the last 9 games?
in the last 9 games,
9, yes.
oh man, 9 games.
Mm-hmm. Nine inning games. How many runs do you think we've put on the board?
There's no way don't say anything. I'm gonna kind of just narrow this down. There's no way it's more than 20. 17?
Close. 15.
50. My first fucking thought was 15, damn it. I gave him too much credit.
Just to give you a scope of 15 runs through 9 games, the worst team in the MLB, the Cincinnati Reds, who are 4 and whatever the fuck, worst team in baseball, they scored 14 runs today in 1 game.
Did they really?
Milwaukee Brewers. Yes.
Did they really? I didn't even know that.
They did. And let me tell you, it was 14 runs, and they won 14-11.
Wow, they still gave up 11 runs.
Yep, I watched the 9th inning, and there was back-to-back home runs, and then a triple, and then a double, and I really thought Milwaukee was going to win.
So what is Cincinnati's biggest issue? Do they just have horrendous pitching?
I mean, they're like the A's. They just sold their whole team. I mean, Castellanos left. You got, I mean, they're very young also, kind of like us. But, I mean, you just kind of got it was kind of like they're kind of like the Tigers 6 years ago, where they kind of just said, hey, we're not going to be making any runs anytime soon. Let's just scrap everything and rebuild. And this is kind of like their first year of doing that. Because
Wow.
last year they were kind of competitive. They had, Castellanos. They still got, Joey
Well,
Votto,
I was just about to say
and
Joey Votto
but he's been struggling
he's
big
been
time.
doing bad, man.
Yeah, and then the
122 batting average.
rotation.
Woo.
Oh, it's brutal. The rotation was pretty good too, and yeah, they just kind of, Castellanos went to the Phillies, and everybody just kind of left and got traded, and they're really starting year one of the rebuild. So, I mean, that isn't really a surprise. But when you have a team starting year one of the rebuild and they scored more runs in one game, almost as much runs in one game as you have in the past 9, when this was supposed to be the first year after 6 of trying to get out of the rebuild mode, that's not a good sign, to say the least.
Here's what I'll say. And I thought about this probably about 3 days ago, something like that, 2-3 days ago. And I've been letting it marinate and I've been sitting on it. And I have quite the take that I think people in Detroit, out of pure anger, won't really hate. But as far as people around the country go for baseball, I think they'll be like, what are you talking about? And that take is the Cincinnati Reds are not the worst team in baseball. I don't care about the records right now. There's a lot of baseball to be played. The Detroit Tigers are the worst team in baseball at this moment right now. And here's why. Let me tell you. We have quite possibly the worst hitting team in 50 years. This is the worst hitting team I've ever seen in my life. You can look at the Reds and say that's why I kind of asked. The whole fucking show is just a mess. It's a circus. But at the end of the day, I have never seen a team hit as poorly as the 2022 Detroit Tigers. It's worse than Little League. It's when you'll be in Little League and there'd be the shit team playing the best team in the league, and he's like, oh well, this is just gonna be super fun for one team while the other team just wants to get it over with.
Excited for the 7th inning stretch where mom brought orange slices.
Right, correct. That is literally whoever Detroit plays now, and it's against the fucking A's, man. The A's.
And that's a great point. We make other teams look so much better than they are. Now, I'm not saying the Astros aren't good. They made the World Series last year. They could definitely make a run this year.
Right. The Astros are the Astros.
And
garbage cans.
We held them close for the first 3 games. That was I don't want to say that was a win, but we did get swept. Anyway, you play teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates where you split. You play teams like the Oakland A's. You got Baltimore next week. Teams that have been historically bad for the past 3 to 4 years, and you are making them look like they're gonna be playoff contenders. You're making them look like they're the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's frustrating because we both know how well this team can hit when they will come around.
Dude, like the players that we have they're not bad players.
Yeah, and it's like, we don't have that one, go-to superstar. I understand that. And like, you can argue Javi Baez, obviously Miguel Cabrera, for what he's done in his career, one of the best hitters I've ever seen in my entire life.
Right, but at this moment right now, no, he needs to be batting like
you
fucking
cannot,
eighth in the lineup.
You cannot rely on a guy like that.
And even Javi, man, like Javi's been struggling the past, 2 weeks.
Exactly. And like, you don't have that go-to guy. You don't have a, Fernando Tatis. I know he's hurt. You don't have a Ronald Acuna. You don't have a face of the franchise.
Oh my God, if we had
yet. And it's, I hate to put everything on, Al Avila, the GM, but, he's taking chances on some guys that, worked out.
Yeah, and
like Skubal.
Yeah, and some really have worked out, like Meadows. I mean, that move to get Meadows, that was great. Meadows has been one of maybe our best player, honestly. But at the same time, Avila has made so many more blunders than
and like, I'm not saying that, Spencer Torkelson's in year one. I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm not saying he couldn't be that guy. But when you're looking at it right now, I mean, like, there's just a presence. There's a swagger when you see guys like Vlad Jr., Ronald Acuna, Tatis, even Jazz Chisholm for Miami. Like, they just have this demeanor where they can, you want that guy up.
Yeah.
In the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, down one. Like, that's who you want there.
Right.
And I'm not saying Torque is not that guy. Obviously, if he gets up in that kind of situation, I'm going to get excited. I'm going to have hope. But, he's in a big slump right now. He's a rookie. You can't really get mad at him. I understand it.
Right. Well, Torque is like, I have all the faith in the world that he will be that guy, and I think he can be that guy right now. He's just not the guy right now, just because he's got to consistently do those things. He's got his own issues right now, just trying to bat decent at all.
Well, there's that, and like, you come into this year with all the high hope and high expectations. High meaning, hey, can we be competitive? Not like World Series run high, but like, you expect them to be competitive. You expect them to win series. You expect them to, hold their own in the Central. And you are putting so much pressure on this one individual, this 21-year-old kid, that's coming in to be, he wants to be the superstar. He wants to be that face of the franchise. You are just putting so much pressure on that man's shoulders. And I'm not saying he can't handle it. I'm just saying you have to be balanced enough around him.
Yeah, give him some help.
He's not getting frustrated when he goes into like an 0 for 10 slump, because that's going to happen. It's the MLB. It's the hardest sport.
Oh yeah,
to hit the ball in, to put it's one of the hardest professional sports to play.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
You can't get mad at this little slump for him being as young as he is. That's fine.
It's when he's around guys like Miguel Cabrera, Javi Baez, when he's around these guys and they're not putting anything out that's good either. It's not going to help a rookie's sake. A rookie is going to just feed off of the guys around him that can do well.
Right.
But when this rookie sees these guys that are just seasoned veterans, should be knowing what they're doing, and just severely underperforming, he's gonna be like, wait, I thought that I was gonna come in here and just sit back and learn and just be around these Hall of Famers, and they're ass.
Right. And like, I really do get mad, when I see people say, whether it's on Twitter or whatever, like, oh, this Spencer Torkelson struck out again. Like, this guy's a bust. Like, shut up. Yeah. You have never put a bat in your hands. Most likely 90% of the people have never played baseball in their entire life. So I don't know, what the fuck you're talking about. 2, yeah, you might have played baseball, whether it was little league, college, whatever. You don't understand what sitting in a box, seeing 95 in your face, it does. It's just, I don't want to say it's unhittable, but it's a step up from AAA. It's a step up from college baseball. So for everybody saying this guy's a bust, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, this guy is a terrible pick, dude, we're 20 games in the season. Yeah, give the dude a break. He's still leading our team in home runs. He's still putting the ball in play. So I don't understand those takes, but I understand the frustration with him, struggling the way he is. But then you can pin that on Robbie Grossman's been struggling the past 15, 20 at bats. Javi Baez has been struggling the past 15, 20 at bats. I mean, like, Javi Baez, and we all knew this coming in, and you have Cubs fans, you have Mets fans, all kind of saying the exact same thing. Like, man, I miss Javi, but I don't miss
the strikeouts, the swinging,
the strikeouts.
What have I told you? It's like,
chase rate.
If you're a pitcher, why would you throw him anything besides like a low and away breaking ball, like a slider? Like, why would you throw anything else to him? He cannot hit that pitch. If you can locate that pitch, don't give him anything else.
Right. When you throw that first pitch slider away that is so far out of the zone, and he takes a hack at it.
Yeah, he's going to swing at it.
I'm throwing that same pitch 4 more times,
Yeah, and
and
like,
I either strike him out or he walks. I
and
could care
look,
less.
I love if a guy is an aggressive hitter over a too patient of a hitter. Obviously, you want the guy that just makes the right decisions. But if I have to pick one, I want the aggressive guy because there's like nothing worse as a player than striking out looking. That's like, it sucks. So for him to take, wild hacks, yeah, it sucks. But I do like the aggressiveness. He needs to sit on first pitches a little more, and he needs to look for his pitch more. I think he's
Right.
he's just looking at basically, if it's, I don't care if it's a fastball, breaking ball, any type of off speed. He's basically at the point like, man, look, if this thing looks like it's a strike, I'm swinging. When here's the thing, just because it's a strike, you don't have to swing, especially if it's early in
Right.
the count. If it's early
Right.
in the count, pick a spot where you like hitting the ball. If that pitch is there, go for it. But if it's just, it's going to be a strike, but low and away, not really my pitch, but, that's going to be called strike, so let me swing at it. Bro, you're probably, especially with his swing, he's probably going to pull it. It's going to be a grounder to the third baseman or the shortstop, and he's going to be out.
Especially the most frustrating parts, like if you're chasing that pitch with 2 strikes, I totally understand. From a hitter's perspective, you want to protect the plate. I totally get that. But when you're hacking at that same pitch that is nowhere near the strike zone on 0-0 counts, 2-0
Right.
counts,
Right.
1-0 count, I mean, it's just you're gonna put yourself in a rut that you can't get out of, where you could be sitting 3-0. And I have this theory, and we talked about how aggressive he is. I just have this feeling where he just doesn't like to walk. Like him thinking about like, oh, it's 3-0. If he's gonna walk me, I'm gonna be upset because I want to swing the bat. So
All
I feel
right.
like he goes up there and he's like, oh, I'm gonna swing at anything close because I want to get it. I want to hit a home run. I want to hit a double. I want to get on base, not by walking. When you kind of have to understand, like, hey, you gotta be patient.
Right.
You have a guy like Austin Meadows, Robbie Grossman, who haven't been hitting for power per se, but they get on base because they work pitchers, they work pitch counts, and that's how you have to go about it. And I'm not saying he's. I'm the last guy telling you guys that he is a terrible signing. Why did we pick him up in free agency? I will not say that. Absolutely not. We needed a shortstop. We got a shortstop. Look at how many defensive runs he's saved.
Oh
Look at
yeah,
all the plays that he's been making.
His defense
If
is
he's not,
phenomenal.
if he's not top 3, top 1 in Gold Glove voting to this point, then I don't know who would be. Just seeing how many spectacular plays he's made in the infield, and he's made his infield way, way better. And you cannot tell me, yeah, I know I get frustrated seeing him strike out, twice a night, swinging at pitches that are nowhere close to the zone. Absolutely. I get frustrated all the time about that. But if you're going to compare it to who we had at shortstop last year, Harold Castro or Willie Castro, I will take Javier Baez 100 times out of 100, no question.
Right.
It's not even close.
And a bunch of
Yeah.
Tiger fans will say, well, why didn't we just give or offer a different type of contract to Carlos Correa and all that shit? And like, look, I'll tell you right now, Carlos Correa is not worth, what did he want, like 350 million or some
Fucking-
shit for the
he
10-year?
He wanted Elon Musk's salary.
Yeah, he wanted just an astronomical amount of money, and he's obviously a great player, right? And at the moment when the offseason was going on, it's like, okay, well, Carlos Correa is the best shortstop in the league. Like, you look at these guys, these other shortstops that are getting these crazy contracts, and we pass up on him, and we get Javi. And at that moment, like, there's people there like, well, I guess obviously we couldn't get Correa, so we'll take Javi. And then Javi doesn't, or Correa does end up signing with the Twins for a different contract than he was basically asking teams at first. And so all the Tigers fans get all pissy, like, oh, well, we should have still got him. We could have just offered him a different contract. But here's the thing, man. Like, at the end of the day, we got Javi for 6 years. I have faith, or 6 more years, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was like a 7-year contract.
Yeah.
Right.
We got him for like 6 more years, and I have faith he's going to come around. I have faith he's going to stop being so fucking stubborn. I mean, if you look at when he got to the Mets, he really was. I'm not going to say he made a 180, but he was batting way more patiently. When he was on the Cubs, he was doing what he's doing right now, which is swinging at fucking whatever the hell he wants. But when he
Yeah,
got to
but
the Mets, he was striking out way less and an overall more patient batter. But
right.
with Carlos Correa, man, like I would have never have given that guy so much money. He's not worth
Yeah.
that money.
It
He's not that
and
consistently healthy of a guy. And he's
that's the
not like
biggest thing, man.
that great of a shortstop either. He's a great shortstop, but for damn near Mike Trout money as a baseball player, no. That is not
Yeah,
Carlos Correa.
and when you obviously, I know, defensive runs save wise, Correa, beats out Javi by, a couple more runs average or whatever. But at the same time, you have a guy that has struggled worse than Javi has at the beginning of this year. Granted, he's on a better team, so no one really pays attention to that. And the biggest thing you got to think of is he did this deal with the Twins with these options. If like they tank, if they don't make the playoffs this year,
He's not
if they
staying
get
regardless.
bounced, if they
I don't
get
care how
bounced
they
in the
do.
first round, guess what? He is gone. He's leaving. He's waiting for any other team to pick up that same contract.
Nobody wants
And
to
he'll
play
go
in
straight
Minnesota.
there.
He's leaving
Exactly.
regardless. He's like
Exactly. And I
that
think it
April
was more
baseball
of a
Minnesota. Fuck no.
right. And I think it was a little fuck you to the Tigers for not being able to pay him. And he's like,
Probably.
hey, fuck you. I'll just go to another team in the AL Central. And that's fine with me because I feel like the Javi plan will work out over time more because I think Javi has more swagger. I think he's a better, I don't want to say like face of the franchise, but he's just a fun guy to watch. He's
Oh,
competitive.
he's a fun
He
baseball player.
he just makes the Tigers more fun. And I
Right.
think that's what the Tigers have been lacking for the past couple of years.
Oh,
Just
for
that one
sure.
guy, other than Miguel Cabrera,
Right.
that is just like flashy, cool to watch. That's why I really like Badu last year. I kind of he fit that build really well. But it just makes baseball more fun. More people are going to want to tune in and watch. More people are going to want to go to the games to watch. Javi Baez playing short rather than Harold Castro. So we got a shortstop. Everybody shut up. It'll be fine. It'll work out. But I mean, yeah, this 2-7 our last 9 games, terrible. We talked last time. We split with the Pirates. We went on the road to Houston.
Or while you brought up Badu, let's talk about the fact that he has been sent down, but not only that, why have we not brought up any hitters?
Yeah, I mean,
Literally look
I
at somebody like, and I'm not saying bring him up specifically, but what did I tell you the other day? Like, there has to be at least one, or if not two guys that can hit better than some of these guys at this moment right now. Even Short down in fucking, where is he? Is he in AAA right now?
yeah, he's in Toledo.
Yeah, he's been hitting well lately. And then Clemens, like, bring up one of them.
Right.
What do we have to lose? We're already the worst hitting team in the universe. Why not bring
Right.
up somebody else? And it's not like our defense is that much greater at the moment. So what's the risk?
Right. And I agree. I mean,
We're bringing up 20
kinda
pitchers.
right. It's kind of tough. The only thing with the pitchers is we needed them. We've had so many pitchers get hurt.
Right.
So many people miss starts where we had no other choice than to bring up these guys. Now, did you want Joey Wentz? Did you want Alex Faedo, Bo Brisky? Did you want 3 of those guys making their MLB debuts this year, this early in the year? Probably not. But at the same time, there's nothing else we can really do with guys getting hurt, especially with Mize, Manning, all that kind of stuff. But as far as hitters go, it's just tough because I understand you kind of want to get these guys up to give them some ABs and all that kind of stuff, maybe turn things around. But with how it works is you got to send someone down if you want to bring up a hitter. And you guys got the Castros can kind of go up and down. Harold Castro's been hitting. Willie Castro obviously hasn't. But Willie Castro's more versatile. He can play in a bunch of different positions. So it's good to have a guy like that on your roster. And, Zach Short plays shortstop. And, you're not going to take Javi out of the lineup. You're not going to take – you could take Scope out of the lineup, but it's kind of hard. It's a really tough game to bring up hitters and send down other hitters because it's just going to be a back and forth of bringing up, putting back down, bringing up, putting back down. And, AAA compared to MLB is eighth grade baseball compared to college. It's so much more different
I'm
than you
just
think. It's
saying
so much more difficult.
at this point right now, I think we've seen. I think this athletic series has kind of defined a lot of what's going on. I mean, yeah, Scope, woohoo, got a home run, but like, what's going to change, man? There's a difference between like a slump and something being legitimately wrong. Like
I agree.
everybody gets into a slump, but some guys get to a point where it's like, holy shit, what happened to you? And I mean, even
Right.
Cabrera got into spouts like that, and a lot of times it has to do with injuries and things. But like, man, it's a waste of a season. The whole thing last year was, this is finally going to be the end of the rebuild. But like, we've been hitting worse this year than last year. Yeah,
Right.
thank God our pitching is really good, and a lot of teams would love to have our pitching right now, but
That's the thing. That's the one thing I wrote down. And hey, before I say it, let me finish my point. Where our point based on bringing up and pulling down hitters and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I understand we're struggling. I understand this A series. It's been, I would say, more frustrating than any other series we played this year. Um, but to make those decisions, pull up guys, kind of for a testing period. I think it's too early. I think it's, May is a little too early to get those guys up. There is still hope to turn things around. There's still a chance to kind of compete and kind of flip this year around. But shit, come June, end of June, we're still in the same rut. Dude, bring up everybody you want. I could care
oh my
less. Give
God,
guys
at that
ABs.
point, it's
I'm all about
ridiculous.
it then. But let's try to gain some ground at least here in May and get some guys hot before, you know, we bring a guy like Cody Clemens up and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I'm excited for them to, make their shot. I mean, I'm still so excited for Riley Green. I think he got pushed back a little bit because of his injury, but I do really think he could be a spark. And I know a lot of people have said it already, and I'm kind of in the same camp. I do think, even though, Torque was a higher draft pick, number one overall, I think Riley Green might be better. I think he might be better hitter, better defender, even though Torque's playing very good defense at first base so far. But I think Riley Green, with his speed and his swing, I think he can actually change the lineup around. And so when he comes back, I think that would be the most excited I will be. And don't get me wrong, I was so excited for Spencer Torkelson to start, get ABs, and seeing him hit 3 bombs this year already has been awesome. But I do really think Riley Green is going to be some guy that you look at and you're like, where the fuck has this guy been the past 3 years? And I think he can be that type of guy. So I'm excited for him to hopefully he comes back. I know one thing for sure, and I fully agree with it. They are not rushing him back, which I
There's
100%
no
am on
point
board
to.
with.
There's no point at
There's
all
no
to.
point to. We're struggling. You're in May. It's a 162 game season. You don't need to bring him back as soon as possible. Let him get all the rest he needs. Let him, recover from his broken foot, which not a lot of people know. He broke it before he hit a triple in the next pitch, which I still think is wild. Um, anyway, yeah, I'm excited for him, but what we're talking about pitching, I mean, in years past, I mean, Tigers bullpen, Tigers starting rotation has been like let's see if our offense can score more than the other team because we're not going to be able to keep runs off the board. That is like so far opposite of what's going on this year. It's crazy. With how good our rotation has been and how good our bullpen has been, which I would have to check. I don't know if we're still, you know, leading the MLB in ERA for our bullpen, but if we are, what the fuck? How is that possible? Two, you have a pitching staff that is keeping you in every single ball game that you've played in. Obviously not today. We're down 7-0 at this point in that one game against Houston where we lost 5-0, but our pitching has kept us in games. They've kept us in 1 to 2 run ball games, sometimes even shutouts, to a point where what else can you do? I mean, if you're coming in and giving up 1 or 2 runs against a Houston Astros lineup and you can't match that on offense, you don't deserve to win that game. 100%. Like, and I know guys like Scuball are getting frustrated. You know, he had a great start yesterday, pitched phenomenal. And our offense woke up a little bit, but that guy's going to get, a guy like that's going to get frustrated when he's going out there putting up 8 strikeout, 2-run performances every outing and coming out with a loss because our offense can't put up more than 1 run. And,
yeah, that's disgusting, man.
Chris Fetter, I don't know what kind of money we're paying him now or what kind of money he needs to be paid to stay with the Tigers for the next 150 years, but you can take money out of my paycheck to keep him there because he is the Messiah. And I think what he's been doing with this pitching staff has just been ungodly. And what he's been able to do is just, I know pitchers, pitching coaches can't win AL managers of the year, but I think he should be in the running.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said before, it's just unfortunate. I mean,
yeah,
obviously at the end of the day, like, you got to hit to win games in general. Like,
absolutely.
You can have elite pitch. I mean, just look at our team. You can have elite pitching, but if you can't hit, you're not going to win any games. But it's like, wow, just the timing. Because you go back to, I think we talked about it last episode, but when we were actually really fucking good and we had the best team in the league, but our bullpen was big doo-doo, and we lost in the World Series. We had everything but a bullpen. Now we have pitching overall very good, but now we just have no hitting.
We're not used to this. This is like so out of reach for normal Detroit Tigers teams that I just don't know how to feel. And I honestly, I think, like, I don't know, I'll ask you the question because I've been thinking about it the past couple of days. What is, like, I almost think that this year is more frustrating. What do you think is more frustrating? Having a team that's offense can put up 6-7 runs every game, but our pitching staff can't keep below 5, or a team that the pitching constantly is only giving up 1 to 2 runs every game and our offense can't even score once.
I mean, I'll kind of compare it. I'll compare it to the Leafs before the playoffs started. There was like the last 2 months before the playoffs started where the Leafs were having just horrendous goaltender issues. Like, look, if you can
Mrazek MVP,
if you can score as much as any other team, you can win games. Like, everybody in sports talks about defense wins championships. I mean, kinda. It depends on eras and things like that, how the sport is played at the time. But at this moment right now, if you look at hockey, there's a lot of goals being scored. There's a lot of players scoring a lot of goals. In baseball, I think it's the same way. Like, if you can score a lot of runs, you're gonna win games. I'm not saying you're gonna be the best team, but you're gonna win games. Whereas if you have really good pitching, but you're not getting any runs in, what does that matter for the pitching at all?
I agree.
It's like and to answer about the frustrating aspect. Yeah, it really sucks when you score a lot of runs and you still lose. It's annoying, but man, when your team doesn't score any runs, you have so much less incentive and motivation to watch the damn team because it becomes boring and repetitive.
100%. I mean, you have guys, and it's not like oh, we let off the inning with a triple, or we have guys that are batting over 300 and we just can't score them. No, we are going 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 9 innings every game.
Right.
Where it's just not even competitive.
And let me say this, as somebody who played, when you're in the dugout and your team's hitting like crazy, you're going to stay fired up, even if the other team's, going blow to blow with you and just scoring at will, just like you are. That is just a different level of, we got to be more competitive. We got to keep this fire going. You're going to stay excited. Whereas you're not scoring any runs. The whole dugout's just, the game's going to feel dragged on. I mean, that's baseball too. You're not scoring. You're just trying to enjoy hopefully good weather at that point.
Right. Exactly. So last point on the Tigers. I don't want to talk about them anymore. Me and Zach are going to the game on Saturday. Star Wars night. I think I'm more excited for Star Wars night than I am for the game. No, I'm excited. Play Baltimore. We got Big Mike on the mound. Mikey Pineapples. Honestly, probably one of my MVPs this year so far. Getting this guy in the offseason, everybody thought, oh, yeah, he's going to be a viable fifth option in this rotation when you guys got, you got guys like Scooball and Mize and all that kind of stuff. Dude has been way better than a fifth option. He is like been lights out. He misses bat. He doesn't miss too many bats, but he throws strikes. He, gets hitters to make weak contact, and every outing he's had this year has been phenomenal. So, I'm excited to watch Mikey Pineapples on the bump, all 6'8" of his frame.
That's a big boy.
The dude's a tank.
Absolute unit.
He's like 6'8", 270.
Oh, that's bullshit. There's no way he's not pumping over 300 pounds, man. That's a big boy.
I'm looking it up right now. Dude, if I'm in the batter's box and I see that behemoth of a man on the mound, there's no way I'm not shaking in my boots.
Just the presence of a gigantic pitcher, man. Of course, it's like, what the fuck am I facing right now?
Right.
They released the ball like 5 feet closer than, an average size human.
Yeah, he's 6'7", 260.
There's not a chance that man is only 260 pounds. He's over 6.5 feet tall, and his jersey's the size of the fucking the rain delay tarp. That's how big his jersey is, man. He probably wears like a size 17 shoe.
He's got a quadruple XL jersey.
There's not a chance that man's not pushing over 3 bills.
The one your dad gives you when you're going to the Tigers game and you're in the wash.
Right.
So, yeah, you can wear my LK line jersey, son. The 4X. Anyway, the Tigers keep sucking, and I'm gonna watch every game. I do it every year, but dude, the Angels are fun. Dude, they're fun to watch.
What did I tell you? They're winning it this year. They're winning the whole thing. There's not a chance they don't.
I mean,
it's their time.
Their team is so much fun. Like 1 through 9, they've been raking. And you guys, when you have a lineup that consists of Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Anthony Rendon, and then you are getting outshined by Brandon Marsh, Taylor Ward, like. How can you? Their offense is unbelievable, and they've always struggled in the past. Their rotation's always been awful. Their pitching's been awful. But I mean, when you have a healthy Mike Trout, you have a healthy Shohei Ohtani, you're gonna make a deep run. And yesterday they threw a no-hitter. Props to that. I think that kid's like, he's 22 years old. I think that was like his 10th start, something like that. Throws a no-hitter. And then I think, overshadowing that no-hitter, I hate to say it, but did you see that Rendon home run?
Oh, the lefty?
Yeah, how big of a fuck you is it if you're just like, yeah, I've never batted lefty in my entire MLB career, but I'm just going to go up lefty and see what happens, and you hit a 420-foot tank.
And you know what? This actually kind of, I want to go into this a little bit, because I forgot I wanted to talk about this topic, but the fact, too, that there's that theory going around the league also that the baseballs are just dead this year for God knows why conspiracy reasons. Have you heard about that?
I agree.
If you look at all the hitting numbers overall, everything is down right now, which, I mean, it could just be a matter of pitchers just being really good this year and just who knows what. Anyways, the fact that there's definitely players that feel this way about the baseballs being dead this year. I think Pete Alonso was one of the guys, I could be wrong, that said that. And then this guy comes up and says, yeah, I'm old bat lefty right now. We're up, 10-0? What's the harm? And it's just a fucking bomb out to right field. Like, that is one of the most impressive and hilarious things that I've ever seen. Because at the
Oh
end
my
of the
God.
day, was he who was pitching at that time? Was it even a
Brett Phillips. It was the outfielder from the
yeah,
Rays.
yeah, because I think Trout got a home run off of him too. So
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of the day, was he facing a legitimate pitcher? No, he was not. But at the same time, to never bat the opposite hand and hit a ball, what'd that go? That was probably like 380 feet around there, at least.
Yeah.
Like, man, that is fucking wild.
I think they said it was like 410.
Yeah, wow. So,
Yeah. I
and that's
mean,
just what that team's about right now, man. Just doing wild
there's no
shit, just being
doubter.
better than every other team.
Yeah, they're fun to watch, man. I'm jealous. And I was always in the camp of like, man, this team has really ruined Mike Trout, the greatest
Oh
baseball
yeah,
of our
man, for
generation.
sure.
They've ruined his career. And this year they're on another level, which is really cool to see. I'm definitely pulling for them. Obviously pulling for the Tigers too, but yeah, I'm not hopeful.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else? What else you want to cover? We got
I mean, Verlander
yeah, he's still
almost pitched a
doing
no hitter that I cursed, I guess.
Verlander's still doing Verlander things. I know a couple other Tigers media members are in the same camp, but I do think he'll end his career in Detroit.
He needs to, man. I really hope so.
I'm very hopeful of that. I think he'll come back for 1 year.
By the way, can I interrupt real quick? Sorry, just for anybody listening. When we were talking about the Astros before, when I said they're garbage cans, no, I did not mean the team sucks. That means the team's obviously good. If you didn't know, with their whole cheating scandal thing of 2017, go look that up and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Which, if you're listening to this and you do not know that, then you got a couple years to catch up on.
Yeah, how are you listening to us? We're talking baseball and you don't know about that. Anyways,
exactly.
I mean, we're glad to have you.
Yeah, welcome.
We'll teach you stuff. Anyways, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what I was talking about. Yeah, I mean, the dude's doing things at his age that you shouldn't be able to do. If I was at that age, I would not be able to throw a ball over 90 miles an hour. I wouldn't be able to throw a ball over 60 miles an hour without going to get Tommy John the next day.
I'm 24 and I can't throw a ball over probably like 25 miles an hour right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the dude's elite. He's always going to be in that elite class. I mean, you put guys like him, Scherzer, even Bumgarner, he's been having a pretty good year so far. I mean, guys that just don't age on the mound is just it's fun to watch, and I really do hope to see him in a Tigers uniform.
It needs to happen, man. It just needs to.
It needs to happen, but who knows?
And can I just say this? I think the popular opinion of the average baseball fans is who's the best pitcher of the past 20 years. I think people would mostly say Kershaw. But man,
20 years?
Yeah, of the past 20 years.
I would say DeGrom's up there too. Scherzer.
But I mean, single season for sure, DeGrom, and Scherzer's definitely up there. But I'm talking about over the span of a long career. I don't think DeGrom hangs with those guys.
Yeah.
But I'm Verlander, man. I'm Team Verlander. I think Verlander has been the best pitcher in baseball in the past 20 years. I mean, did he win? I mean, he won with the Astros. Did he win with his best team? No, and they had multiple chances to do it, and that doesn't look good. I mean, you can say the same for Kershaw, though. But man, the things that he has done, especially how many? He's got 2 no-hitters. Did he get a perfect game?
No, both no-hitters I think were against the Blue Jays. I think.
I remember one specifically being in Toronto. But yeah, man, and the overall numbers he puts up, he's a better strikeout pitcher than Kershaw is. Kershaw has been overall on a better team for longer. I mean, it's been close because Verlander has gotten to bask with the cheating Astros too, but he's been injured for a lot of it. Regardless, I think Verlander's just one of the greatest ever. course, Kershaw
Oh,
is too.
absolutely.
But
He's a horse, man. When you get a guy, if you want a guy to be an ace, you want him to be number one in your rotation. You need him to be a horse. You need him to be a workhorse that can just throw 7, 8 innings, no problem. Keep that velo. And
the
I
dude would end
mean,
up throwing harder throughout the game.
exactly. He was an anomaly, and
He still
I'm not
is.
saying the Tigers. Yeah, I'm not saying the Tigers can't get that in the future. I think Screwball's definitely in that camp. Um, Absolutely. I think his stuff is nasty, but at the same time, I mean, you're not going to see a lot of guys like Verlander being able to go 7, 8 innings when he's in his 30s, still pumping 95 plus.
Yeah, man. It's just, we got to thank sports medicine nowadays for these guys hanging in there in their late
Absolutely.
age. Look at basketball. You got LeBron, Chris Paul, too. Chris Paul's been amazing. He's
Absolutely.
the same age as
Yeah.
LeBron, 37. Baseball.
And for everybody, me and Zach talked about it earlier, for everybody coming in here, like, why aren't these bozos talking about the NBA playoffs that are going on right now? I don't watch the game. Like, I like basketball. I like all sports. I just haven't been watching the games. Like, you don't want to hear my takes
Neither of us
because
have watched.
it'd be me reading off of ESPN.com. I just haven't watched a single quarter of basketball.
I'll check recaps and stuff. What I tell Brendan is just
Check
like
scores.
what I tell
it.
Brendan is basketball is just not in a good place for me right now. I think it's at one of the worst. The way the game is played, I think, is at one of its worst points. I think it definitely peaked at terrible, probably around like 2017, 2018, maybe around then. Which sucks because 2016 was a really cool season, but 2017, 2018, man, oh boy, that was a bad. It's all about getting fouls. It's just a slow game. When you're watching on TV, it's commercial break after commercial break. Huge people just playing like soccer players, being real soft. It's not fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it sucks because there's a lot of guys in the league right now that I'm a big fan of. I mean, Giannis is my favorite player next to Luka, but Giannis is, he plays the game correctly. He's physical. He plays both ends. He doesn't just play offense. That's my one thing with Luka is he's coming around with defense, but he's got to get there. But man, just guys, play some fucking defense. When games are ending 140 to 136 because nobody's playing defense and there's so many fouls, free throws. Man, I like when games end 75 to 80. That's a better game. 2004 Detroit Pistons.
Absolutely.
That was the best
I'll
basketball.
always be on that side. Defense is sometimes fun to watch too. Not just 3 balls from half court.
Well, that's what I told you too. It's like when so much scoring happens in a game, as a fan, you get to the point where it's like you're not into as much throughout the entirety of the game. You're into it at the beginning, and you start to build back up into it at like the end of the third quarter, because like those middle baskets are just like so many baskets are being shot and made, and it's like and you're thinking, well, what are you talking about? There's so much more. The talent is so much better now. I mean, yes and no. It depends. Right. It's a completely different game than it used to be. But it's when there's so many points happening, it's each basket is like worthless if that makes sense. Whereas when you look at like baseball, hockey, football, a goal in hockey, a run in baseball, and a touchdown, even a fucking field goal, man, it's like these are each and every single one matters so much. So you're into it. Whenever a team scores, you're like, oh my fucking God, that's crazy. But with basketball, it's just like, all right, is it the fourth quarter yet? And we can actually really see these guys get competitive. I agree. And then you go to football. Football, I think, professional. I mean, college football has always been great. Yeah, I want to see some different shit in the playoffs. I mean, I guess we kind of did with Michigan, but professional.
Yeah, did we? I don't know.
Professional football, man, if that wasn't like some of the best playoffs I've ever seen in my life. Football, I think, is in a really good spot right now professionally. I still think there's a lot of room to grow, and it's nice that they're changing some of the overtime stuff. But I have no worries with football, even as a Detroit Lion fan. It's good. Whatever's going to
I'm
happen with them.
hopeful. I'm
Yeah,
hopeful that I'm
honestly.
hopeful for this year.
Yeah. And then hockey.
Um,
I mean, I'm a Maple Leaf fan, so like I'm, each game is just insanity for me. But even the Red Wings, man, like I keep telling you, like you guys are going to be perfectly fine. Steve Yzerman is an
yeah.
absolute guru. You got young
Give me 2
talent.
years.
Honestly,
Give me two
yeah,
years, and we'll be playoffs. We'll be in the playoffs. We'll be competing, and I know my girlfriend will say the same thing. I mean, she's a bigger Red Wings fan than me. She honestly, if we ever do Red Wings segments, I will go grab her from the other room because she is way
for
more
sure.
knowledgeable than me. But I mean, she'll tell you the same thing. Like, maybe next year, we can compete a little bit, but I think in 2 years we'll be. I don't want to say dynasty, but we'll be back on track.
Oh, you guys for sure will be back on track.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't want it to happen,
Yeah.
but
But what I was gonna say is, long story short, obviously we want to cover more things than the Detroit Tigers on the show,
right.
and we will. But starting this podcast in the summer, that's kind of the primary focus. And there's so many negative thoughts that have been filling my mind about the Detroit Tigers that I would just love to share with everybody that listens to this. So
Right, because us starting this podcast, one of the main things was we just wanted to vent our frustrations out, and
I would
being
say
able,
that was number one.
right, and we don't want to nag it all to our girlfriends. They can hear
No,
they don't need to hear all of our
those poor
complaining about.
souls.
Yeah, they hear enough. So for me and Brendan just to have like a civil discourse about our teams, making us want to just cry in a corner, it's a therapeutic thing for us. So the Tigers are at the height of our frustration. So it's kind of like going to be our main thing at the moment. But of course, the thing is, too, we got to figure out our own scheduling to actually get this. Because so far, both these episodes has been like hectic to get the actual thing going.
Yeah.
So we'll
get there.
Yeah,
bear with us.
We will get there. Audio will get better. We'll get some video into that will hopefully be coming sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much going to wrap up things this week. Big shout out to Craig Cotter. I know you're listening. Number one supporter right there. Loved episode 1, so had to shout him out. I know he'll be listening to episode 2. But anyway, I mean, yeah, that'll wrap it up. Obviously, I hope the Tigers can turn around this little skid they're on. Currently 7-0 in the 6th inning, so don't know if that's going to happen tonight, but have hope it'll come around. We'll cover some more stuff next week, but we hope you guys enjoyed, and leave us a like on the YouTubes, hit the sub button,
comment,
follow us on our comment, and we love comments. Please, we any questions in the comments, you can tweet us Motor City at Motor City Chirps. We're on Instagram, same tag. But leave comments on the YouTube, man. Leave questions. We'd love to answer questions on the show. I mean, anything that you guys want us to talk about, please let us know. I mean, obviously we don't have the biggest of followings right now, but we'd love to kind of incorporate our audience and get you guys in and answer any questions you might have. I think that just makes for a better show.
And we'll get there too with the following. So wouldn't it be cool to be one of the OGs?
Absolutely. Yeah. Miguel Cabrera. Ooh, double. Guess what? No one on base, so it doesn't matter.
Big surprise.
All right. We'll see you next week. Follow us on the YouTubes, or sub on the YouTubes. Follow us on socials. And hopefully we'll be a little bit more positive next week. Right, Zach?
Doubtful. All right.
Yeah. Go Tigers, go Leafs.
Ooh,
love you all.
You said go Leafs? Oh, yeah.
No, I said, yeah, fuck.
See ya.
All right, I gotta go. Peace.